What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and we are here today with a review for Love and Marriage Huntsville. This is season 3. This is episode 11, I believe it is, and the episode is titled, I Now Pronounce You Depressed. I don't know why we named the episode that. Very interesting title, right? Especially based off of what happened at the end of the episode. So, where we at? So before we actually get into the review, if you guys are watching this video or any other on the channel, and you guys are not already subscribed to the channel, then I'm going to need you guys to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell button so you guys are notified of when I drop anything else, you guys. Now, before we get into the review, let's talk about something else, right? So I don't know if Carlos is still taking questions for the reunion, but they are getting ready for the season 3 reunion of Love and Marriage Huntsville. So you guys know how Andy Cohen is on Twitter, right? When he and his team are getting ready for the reunion, he'll tweet out and ask the fans for their questions for the ladies. So Carlos did it on Instagram. It might be on his Twitter as well. I just don't know. Like I said, I don't know when the reunion is gonna film. So you guys, go over there and ask your questions for the cast. You guys know I asked the question. Hopefully mine gets answered. My question was for who, Little Miss Tiffany. My question for Tiffany was, which we're going to actually address that in this episode too, right? The fact that Tiffany has so much to say in her green screen. Well, I don't know if they use a green screen or not, but in her interview with the producers, right? So she's a confessional interview green screen gangster, right? She does all that talk and she does all that talk with the producers, but in the scenes, you're mute or pretend, or you turn into a Karen. But with that out the way, you guys, without further ado, let's discuss Love and Marriage Huntsville, shall we? Alright, you guys, so the first thing we're going to do is, so in the first half of the episode, we literally got the viewpoints from I think it was 3 different people, right? About what happened with the ladies, right? So Kimmy came back to the house. She was talking to Maurice about what happened when they went to, now I'm going to keep it real with you guys, that bar or club or wherever the hell they went to. It looked empty. It was empty and it was desolate, destitute. It was no one in that piece. So she's asking Maurice, what did they do? Maurice has amnesia about what they did, right? So then she tells Maurice about the situation with Tiffany, right? Tiffany has very poor timing. She comes. Please don't be in my car. I think it was on the outside. If you guys don't know me, I hate bugs. So she's telling Maurice about the situation with Tiffany, right? You guys know Tiffany told Tisha that Marcel believes that she's insecure or whatever, right? But Kimmy feels that when it comes down to Destiny, because Destiny chimed in, and she feels that Destiny did a little bit too much, kind of like when they first, met each other. And I'm like, Kimmy, I got where Kimmy was coming from, but I think with that, I feel like we're comparing apples and oranges, really and truly. If we're being honest, I think we're comparing apples to oranges because the situations are different. Do I think Destiny took on some of Tisha's issue? Yes, I do. But in the same vein, I don't think it was different. I don't think it was the same, right? Yes, when we first met Destiny, she did a lot when it came to you. And you saying that all you knew LeBuick for was the chicken, right? Yes, we can agree that was a little bit too much. But with the Tiffany situation, I don't think so, right? I don't think that the issues are different for me personally. You guys can let me know what you guys think. But I found them to be vastly different because this girl came at an inopportune time talking about the fact that her husband, when they're out celebrating her 15-year wedding anniversary, is saying, oh, your husband thinks that you're depressed because you surprised him with a wedding. Well, Tiffany, one could say that since you surprised your husband with a surprise wedding, that you're desperate. How would you like that? Oh, see, I can see everyone can be see, I'm just being, what did she say? She's blunt and she is transparent. Well, I was just being blunt and transparent that it looks like you're desperate because you had to surprise your man with a surprise wedding. I always look at women who do stuff like that. I'm like, why? Why would you do that? I've never heard of a surprise wedding, but when women propose to men, the secondhand embarrassment that I get, no shade to any woman who's done it, I just wonder why. Like, I don't understand that, right? If a man wants to be with you, he's going to make every concession. He's going to let you know that he wants to be with you. You shouldn't have to get down on your knees and ask him to marry you. Now, I know we live in a different time. I know we live in a different day and age where I just don't, that's not something, no. Because a man knows if he wants to be with you. Let's move on. Now, on the flip side of that, Tiffany and Lewis, they were talking about the situation, right? Tiffany. Like, you're the type of person that, and I'm always, I say of myself that I am a blunt person, which I am. I'm very blunt, but I'm not blunt to the point where I don't realize that I might be hurting a person's feelings, and I keep going. Whenever I say the term that I'm blunt or honest, it's just that I don't. What it means to me is, one, I don't believe in lying to you, right? I just don't believe in that. Now, a white lie, yes, I'll give that to you, but just flat out lying, hell no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to tell you the truth, right? And and with my friends and my friends and my family, they know that they can come to me and ask me for the honest truth because I'm going to give it to them. But I also tell people, I'm like, and I know certain people can't handle that, right? I'll be like, if you can't handle the fact that I might tell you something that you might not like, then don't ask me. Don't ask me. Like, I actually had a friend that asked a friend years ago. She actually got mad at me about a situation, right? Because she asked me what did I think about a guy that she was dating. I told her I don't like him. I don't think he's good for you. And she got mad about that, which turned out he was not good for her. But I was like, you know what? I'm not even gonna speak. And I told her, I'm like, I love you, but please don't ask me any questions about that again. Like, don't do it. So, but yeah, that's my thing. You can be blunt, you can be honest, you can be transparent, but at the same time, you have to know your audience, right? You have to know who you're talking to. You have to know what they can handle and what they cannot handle. And that is the prime issue with Tiffany, is that she just says what. But see, Tiffany says what she wants to say, but then when you confront her on it, she wants to cry. See, I'm not that kind of person. If you come at me and say, hey, I heard you say such and such and such and such, I'm like, yeah, I did say it. And if you say, well, either you want to fight me, you want to confront me, we can do whatever you want to do. I'm not going to back down. I'm like, yeah, I said it. Now, if it hurts, if you tell me that it hurts your feelings, I'm like, hey, for that, I can apologize, because shit, that was not my intention never was my intention to hurt anybody. But with you telling me that, I sincerely apologize, right? So then she's talking about the fact, she's talking about, if Tisha had an issue, she should have said something. Well, Tisha's not gonna say anything, and you knew that. So Destiny chimed in, and Destiny said she would drag me. I'm not even confrontational. Well, girl, if you want to be blunt, if you want to be transparent, if you want to be anything, you might want to figure out how to be a little bit. You might want to figure that out just a little bit. That's all I gotta say to you, right? So then she also says that she feels that Destiny wants to have an issue with her because of her friendship with Mel. I'm like, no, I don't even think that has anything to do with it, right? I really don't think that has anything to do with it. And then Liz's like, well, she's going through something right now, and our marriage is so perfect. If your marriage is so perfect, why in the hell did this woman have to surprise you with a wedding? Please tell me that. If your relationship was so perfect, why didn't you go through with it? Why is it that she had to rent out a whole baseball stadium to get you to marry her, but your marriage is perfect. Right. Go to hell. So Tisha went to their room after she had a conversation with Marcel, which we're going to talk about her conversation with Marcel in just a little bit, right? So Tisha and them are talking, right? She's like, "Are we good, Tiffany? Are we good, Tisha?" She says, "Yeah, we good." See, that's it. Tisha's not like Tisha did say that she thought the timing was wrong, but it is what it is. If Tisha liked it, I loved it. If she liked it, I loved it. So Tisha tells them that they're not going to do the vow renewal. I'm going to tell you guys why they're not going to do the vow renewal in just a little bit, right? But Tiffany and Lewis feel that she should do it. I'm like, why? Especially when I explained to you guys why she's not doing it. And she just told y'all why she's not. I'm not telling you guys right now, but she told you flat out why. And y'all still trying to push onto that bullshit. Yeah, Tisha, if you listen to people like Tiffany and Lewis, your marriage is doomed. Just saying. Let's move on. All right, you guys. Next up, let's talk about Mel and Destiny. So Mel and Destiny are having this conversation, right? So I have an issue with Mel because Mel keeps coming to the defense of Tiffany, and I just for me, I'm not quite understanding why does she feel the need to chime in and defend Tiffany, right? Like a guard dog, like like a bodyguard, as Destiny called her, right? Like, I just don't understand why. If Tiffany, like Tiffany tells us Tiffany tells us, I'm transparent. I'm this. I'm transparent. I'm honest. I'm blunt. Well, if you're on that, you shouldn't need someone like Mel defending you. When somebody comes at you, you should be like, you know what, Mel? Thank you for defending me. But let me handle this. Destiny, you got an issue with me? Like, if you want to say something, say it. That is what, that's my issue with Mel, right? So, Mel's like, I'm really trying to figure out if you are and Tisha, not Tisha, but Tiffany like each other or not. She's like, well, we have our moments. And she says, she's very vocal, but, she can't take it. And that's when she said that Mel's like a bodyguard to her, right? And like I said, Mel was defending Tiffany, right? You're defending Tiffany. I'm stuck on stupid at this point, right? Because I just don't understand why you're defending her, right? You're trying to say that you see, you feel that Destiny is being a little mean to her, right? I don't see it that way. I don't really see it that way. You guys can let me know if you guys think that Destiny is being mean. Like, I'm gonna go back to the situation with Destiny and Kimmy. Destiny was like a dog with a bone at that particular time. Destiny was like a dog with a fucking bone. She would not let go of the situation when it wasn't anything that was drastic, detrimental, or anything of the sorts, right? It wasn't. But the things that Tiffany has mentioned since she's been introduced to the cast, if Destiny and LeBuick were still married and you telling her that you thought you saw her with her husband a night prior, but then the next day you see her and you're like, oh, that wasn't you last night, that could have caused issues in their marriage. The situation with Maurice Jr., Kiowa, and Kimmy, that could have caused issues within that family dynamic. Like the fact that Kimmy did not know about the situation, that could have caused a big issue within their family. Tisha and Marceau, the fact that she said that Marceau thinks that she's insecure and they're celebrating their anniversary, that could prove to be what? Detrimental to their family dynamic. So, as much as, like I said a minute ago, Destiny was like a dog with a bone with that situation that happened with Kimmy. Completely different situations. I'm on Destiny's side. Destiny is standing up for something that's right. Like, you're doing things in tacky manner, basically, right? If you feel, if you actually felt the need to discuss these things that have happened, why not just say, hey, you know what? Because I'm not even gonna be like, oh, you should have had it off camera, right? I'm not even about to say that. You can have the conversation on camera, that's fine. But if you're gonna have the conversation on camera, have the common courtesy to pull each person to the side and have the conversation. What it is with Tiffany is Tiffany has been looking for moments all season, and she's gotten them basically because we talk about it. So that's really what the issue is, and I wish Mel would just let it go. But she apologizes to Destiny, for the apparent, for what it, how it looks with her chiming in for whatever her name is, Tiffany. So then I'm gonna move over to Maurice and not Maurice, Tisha and Marcel, right? So they're talking about Miss Tiffany as well, right? And what she told her about the insecure, her being insecure. Well, Marcel feeling she's insecure. He says that they did talk about it, and that he feels that that maybe something is wrong within the relationship, or just maybe something wrong is in general. Either she doesn't know how to vocalize it, or she doesn't even know what it is. Well, Marcel, why didn't you say that when y'all were with Dr. Francis? Because just because you went to therapy, it doesn't necessarily mean that there is something wrong in your marriage. Therapy could be preventative. It could be preventative. You could be going to therapy just to talk. You might see an issue here or there, and you just say, hey, before this turns into something huge or gets out of control, let's get on it now because it's this small, and let's shrink it. I don't know why Marcel doesn't see things that way, but it's probably got to be dealing with his upbringing, right? But it's also something in the black community where we don't seek therapy. So, and also, I don't understand how Marcel doesn't understand what the real issue is with Tisha. The real issue with Tisha is the shit that has been coming up for the last 3 years how long has this show's been on? 3 years, right? It's been all this, and really, Mel kicked this shit off when she told Tisha to pull up to the bar at night on Marceau. Mel started this chain of events, and then it's been through social media for years. Like I told you guys last year, my cousin sent me a video of the alleged woman. The alleged other woman, and it's supposed to be, wait a minute. The alleged other woman that they always talk about with Marceau is Mel's hairdresser, who was also Martel's cousin, right? But I mean, that's really what her issue comes from. And I get Marceau, he doesn't listen to what he's not listening to what people who are not in his relationship are saying. I get that, right? I definitely do get that aspect of what he's saying. And then she also tells him that, she goes on trips with the kids and she just basically wants to spend more time with him. But he's a workaholic. But I mean, you got to find time for your family, bruh. And then she tells him she wants to recommit, and he says we can do it in private. Now, on one hand, I understand Marceau and why he doesn't want to recommit, especially in Vegas, just because of the negative, when people hear, oh, you got married in Vegas, or oh, why, like when people hear stuff like that, that's what they think of Vegas. So I get where he's coming from, but I mean, you could just say some nice things about your wife. We'll talk about that in just a minute. But let's move on and wrap up the episode. Damn, I didn't mean for that to go that long. It's gonna be a lithium review. All right, you guys. So we're wrapping up the episode. So before they go out to dinner, Tisha has made a pit stop at a wedding chapel, right? So this was actually her plan for them to. I'm like, you planned on renewing your vows at a wedding chapel? Yeah. I wouldn't have went for that. I wouldn't have went for, right? Because a wedding chapel. Now, if you had rented out a place, decked it out and everything, our friends and family were there, then I'd be like, okay, it's Vegas, but it's not a wedding. It's not a drive. It's not like a wedding chapel that you just drive up to, get out, go to the Elvis impersonator, and you're married. Now, oh God, Kimmy, I love you, right? I love Kimmy. But Kimmy, why do we keep talking about the fact that maybe the Holtz can renew their vows? At this point, the Holtz cannot renew anything. The Holtz can't even renew a license, let alone a marriage license at this point. Like, they can't renew a business license, a driver's license, anything, because all the Holtz do at this point is argue with each other. And no, thank you. So, everyone was trying to get, Marceau and Tisha to, do this, because this is something that Tisha set up, but Marceau doesn't want to do it because he just doesn't want to do it. And like I said, I get why he doesn't want to do it. It's like people have, like I just said, people think negatively about people who get married in Vegas. You think it's one of them quickie weddings, and then, you probably met somebody at the club, got too drunk, and said, hey, let's go to the chapel and get married. Like Carrie Underwood's song, Last Name. She doesn't even know her last name. Like, literally, that is basically that song. She went to Vegas. She met a guy, didn't know him at all, got married to him, and then the next morning she don't even know what her last name is. So the surprise couple got remarried. I'm like, ugh. I just you know what? And it really isn't even Lewis. It's more so Tiffany that I just don't like. It's really Tiffany. And you know what, though, you guys? I hate to say it, right? I gotta say it. As much as we don't like Tiffany, I have a feeling Tiffany's coming back for season 4. I really believe she's gonna come back for season 4, because unfortunately we talk about her a lot, and Carlos looks at that as engagement, especially if she trends on Twitter. Good, bad, or indifferent, I gotta be honest with you guys, it is engagement, and we still watch it. Oh God, can we stop talking about that big forehead ass woman? Now, I will say, though, I did have an issue with Marceau, right? The fact that, Marceau couldn't even be bothered to at least just get up and say one nice thing about his wife. I love my wife. He couldn't even be bothered to just do that. And even milk like that, right? Like, that is the one thing that I just did not like. I'm like, dude, you can at least get up and say something positive about your wife. But no, he couldn't. So then they go to dinner, right? And, they're talking about all the milestones that they've celebrated. We celebrated your 10th wedding anniversary. We celebrated your 10th. You guys came to Miami when we got married, right? So Mel says, well, we won't be able to do that with the Holtz. And Marcel's like, oh, yes, we will, because I want to get married again. I'm like, really? So you're going to get married to Coleslaw? You marrying Coleslaw, huh? That woman. I really do think about her. Not often, but when I watch the episodes, sometimes I do think about Coleslaw, and I'm like, damn, girl, you're stupid. I don't know what she expected, but this man blew his marriage up because of you, right? You got a baby with him, right? And when people ask him about you, he can't say anything about you. He can't say he loves you. He can't utter any words about you. Only words he's uttered about you is the fact that you were a peasant. And I still get caught up on that one, right? The man called you a freaking peasant, and you still spread your legs for him. He called you a peasant. I can't get over that. He called you a fucking peasant on national television at that. And you still let him hit. I'm sorry. There is no way in hell. I don't give a damn how good some penis is or some vagina is, right? The one thing you will never do is disrespect me to that level, right? To call me, to just demean me, to demean me and make me as if I am the gum on the bottom of your shoes, right? And then you also heard him say that he loves marriage, right? He never said he wants to marry, oh, me and Arian, we in a good space in our relationship, so maybe one day me and Arian can get married. What did he say? He said maybe him and Mel could get remarried. I'm like, oh, no, you did not. You said you and Mel can get remarried? Like, I just don't understand Arian girl. Like I said, there's no penis or vagina out there that could be that good that you call me a peasant, equating me to something beneath you, right? And then you're gonna come back to me and we gonna have sex. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. After I saw that peasant comment, I'm like, and you come back to me, you come back to me. I'm like, well, this peasant is not sucking your dick, and this peasant is not letting you put your dick inside of me. Go to hell, Martell. But she's a young girl, but she's pretty, I think she's somewhere around my age, if I'm not mistaken. Arian is somewhere in my age range. She's not that much younger than me. If she's younger than me, hell, she might be older than me. Because Mel and Martell are a few years older than I am. Girl, you dumb. You are dumb. So then Mel says that Martell told her that he hopes that she gets with someone that hurts her. And I'm like, why would you say that? And then Maurice and Marceau try to chime in saying, yeah, he's just saying that because he doesn't want you to think that you can find anybody that's better than him. Well, she can, or she couldn't. It's really 50-50. She could find a man that's exactly like Martell. She could find a man that is the complete opposite of Martell. It'll be a luck of the coin flip, basically, right? So then Marceau he mentions the pillow talking, and he needs to it needs to be limited, right? So then Lewis got a little bit defensive. I'm like, why are you getting defensive? The man is just saying, hey, the conversation that we as the bros had, our conversation needs to stay between us, and I don't need to hear it coming back to my wife through your wife. But he got defensive. Tiffany tried to chime in. Lewis said, I got this. I'm like, oh, God. Now, see, here's an instance where I says Tiffany can, she says this in her interview, but in the scene, she can't say it. But your marriage is so perfect. But again, like I'm going to repeat it one more time for you. If your relationship and your marriage was so perfect, why did you have to spring on Lewis a surprise fucking wedding? Answer that question for me, boo. Why did you have to make a surprise wedding? But you're talking about, Tisha and Marcel's marriage is not that great because they don't even talk about the little stuff or the important stuff or the important issues. But yours is perfect, and you have to surprise him with a surprise wedding. Go ahead, girl, and go off, right? So, the end of the episode, I didn't understand. This is why I said I don't understand why they named it I Now Pronounce You Depressed. Because Marceau was talking about depression. Now, I'm not going to go too deep into that conversation because you guys know that I do deal with depression, right? So I just don't want to talk about it because sometimes talking about depression can get me down. So I'm not going to speak on it too much, but I do implore Marceau to reach out to somebody and talk to somebody because that conversation that he had, it's not a good one. But that's the end of the episode, you guys. Let me know what you guys thought about it. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell button so you guys are notified when I drop anything else. Share the video. And until the next one, stay safe. Take care of yourselves. Remember to wash your hands, wear a mask, socially distance, be blessed. And I'm going to catch you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.